Alright, this is Joe with 2 Day Hangover. We're talking to Jim here from JIP. He just got his album released, Year X. You can check it out right now on CD Baby, iTunes, Amazon. First off, Jim, how you been?
Good, man. Good seeing you.
You know, we used to hang out in high school. You know, it's been a long time since we've seen each other. Both musicians. He stuck with it, I didn't. And, you know, what made you want to keep up with music?
Music in itself has literally always been like therapy for me. This is, like I told you, the sixth solo record I'm working on, and this is the first one I've really exposed to anybody. This is meant to be something that is fun for people, but music in itself was always therapy. Something to just kind of chill me out. Not really big into drinking or drugs or anything like that, so literally this was everything that kind of mellowed me out and kept me stable and sane.
Okay. Not into drinking, you know you're on 2dayhangover.com.
I do, and I did drink half a bottle of Johnny Walker last night, so...
okay, good. Glad to hear. Good. So, when you made this album, what was the whole kind of concept or core? Did you have one, or did you just get into it?
This was meant to be like the signature album. Every track is very simple, but at the same time has a lot of meaning to it. So going into this, I knew I wanted to have a set amount of songs, and I wanted it to be a full experience for somebody to listen to music and really just have a good time with. And if you caught something in there that made you feel better about your day or motivated you, like that was the plan. So that's what I really wanted to do. I wanted to make a signature album, which I was proud of, and literally like, once I have kids, and go, here, this is what Dad used to do, and be proud of it.
And originally the album was slated for 12 tracks?
It originally was, but then we just kept recording and writing, and I'm still doing it. There's probably going to be an EP somewhere in the next year or so. I just can't stop now. Like, I'm so happy with what's happened that I can't stop, which is cool.
Okay. And you got it up to about, what, you had 15 tracks?
It's 16 tracks altogether. There is a skip track. It's technically 14 tracks, but there is a...
Tricky bastard.
Every 90s CD had secret songs on it.
Absolutely.
So that's why I did it that way.
And speaking of that, when I listened to the album, there was a lot of 90s influences in there. You definitely heard a lot of Stone Temple Pilots, a lot of Silverchair influence in there. But then you were able to switch it over, too, and get a little more, maybe, classical rock in there. You know, you got so a lot of blues sounds in there, a lot of Stevie Ray Vaughan, which is never bad.
Right.
You know, and a lot of Beatles. How were you able to bring that all together?
I have ADD. I mean, I mean, and any part of me is the 90s. The 90s was crazy. It was like a culture explosion, and you know, I love Local H, but at the same time, I love Ben Folds, which doesn't make any sense. You know, if you go to a Local H show, you're beating people up. You're going crazy in the mosh pit, but if you're going to a Ben Folds show, I've seen dudes crying. You know, like, so I mean, like that was influential on me, and you know, I have a deep influence from my father. You know, it got me into like the Beatles and things like that. So that classic rock, that must be where that comes from, because you know, I was never a trained guitar player. I never picked up a guitar and said, "Here's Metallica, you know, play this." So it was more like, "Here, this is what feels good. Listen to the President of the United States of America. The guy plays 4 strings and he's blowing it out and doing different things." And I just kind of wanted to tie it all together and just really tap into things. There's nothing really on purpose that's meant to be bluesy or meant to be alternative rock. I wrote songs and then just kind of played along, and that's what came of it. So it's cool that that's different and sounds good.
Yeah, absolutely. Now the band, it's not just you. There's another guy with you as well.
Yeah. Spencer has literally been with me the whole way through. I met him in the western suburbs, and we've been friends, like best friends, for the longest time. You know, we started in an improvisational band called Amsh, which was literally him playing guitar and me swearing and just going crazy with it. But I always had this craving to be a serious artist. You can still have fun with it, but you know, serious in the fact of if your mom picks up your record, you're not embarrassed to go, "Hey, show this to your friends." But Spencer he's you know, classically trained. He's a beautiful guitar player, and you know, I get embarrassed every time I play next to him because he's so much better than me. But he gets me, and he understands that it's a relationship. You know, as homo as that sounds, we're in a music relationship. But he is an amazing artist, and I'm proud to say he's literally on every track in this record.
You also had the ability to work with a lot of people.
Yeah.
When you made this. tell us a little bit about Tracy Bonham, how that happened.
All right, this is gonna sound bad too, and this is something we didn't talk about. The first 15 times I listened to that song, as it was in my hands and listening to it at home by myself, because I wouldn't let anybody hear it, I cried every time I heard it, because Pledge Music was something that she was doing. She's now an independent artist. She went on from being on a major label to doing that, and I had the chance to start talking to her management team, and we worked it out to where I wrote her a song that's literally, it should have been the biggest ego confidence booster ever for her, because it was about her. It was about how much she's touched my life, and when I was going through breakups as a kid, I didn't know where to go, and she was there for me. And writing that song was like the death of music for me. And I always kind of thought that I'd write a signature album like this and it would be it. But now I don't think that. So, but I wrote her the song, sent it out to California. She wrote and recorded it in her bathroom. So it's kind of cool. I mean, I'd be like, that's where Tracy Bonham goes to the bathroom, and made my song. But it's beautiful. I couldn't be more happy right now, and it's the #3 best-selling Tracy Bonham song on Amazon right now.
Is it really?
Yeah.
No kidding.
I'm totally gonna get sued.
You mentioned that you have a lot of influences with Local H.
Yeah.
And the studio that you recorded at, actually, they kind of came from.
Yeah. Million Yen Studios is downtown. There's a producer there, Andy Gerber. Literally, has been with them since As Good as Dead. That everybody knows it as the Copacetic song, but they've been there. They've done their demos there. They've done a lot of recording there. And Local H, I've seen them more than any live band I know. Just this past week, I saw them for the 37th time.
And I've been counting.
Yeah, I've collected every ticket stub I've had since I was a kid. It's literally like 1,000. But Local H is a huge influence on me. It's one of the reasons I married my wife. We met at an Offspring concert and then went to see Local H, and she bruised her whole legs up, and I was like, that's the girl I'm going to marry. So they've been really influential in my personal life, and then also just from a fun aspect, from music. I mean, just being able to get that much emotion in like certain pop songs and stuff, like it's more than the songs you hear on the radio. So I followed them to Million Yen and did some recording with them there, and that guy hated me. Like, he absolutely despised me. He came in, he's like, how are you a guitar player and can't play to a click track? And, I play by myself, dude. Like, it's something I do at home. So I mean, yeah, I did probably about half the record there, and that guy is like the meat of the record. So drummer was Brent Fattig on those 8 tracks, and turned out really well. It sounds like the Ramones, A Cheap Trick, and I don't know what the hell's going on in those songs, but it sounded cool.
Okay. After you went with Million Yen, you went to Pogo Studios.
Yep. Spencer, the fellow I was talking lovingly about earlier, he lives in Champaign, and we worked with Pogo on my wedding song, which is the track number 17. We recorded that a couple years ago, and that guy is great. He's just like a hippie dude. Come on in, I got 5 million instruments, just come play, and just very comforting, and that would be the studio I would always go back to if I had no set goals, or if it wasn't for like a radio station. But that guy was fantastic. I ended up writing voices, and that was the only political song I ever wrote. We took it in there, and he hooked us up with Claire Cannon, who played violin on that song, and just did a great job. I mean, there's such like an earthy tone to those songs, and it came out really good.
Okay. What are you doing now? I know you got a show coming up.
Yep.
And you have a few more after that, promoting the album. And
Yep.
you're going to be doing it acoustics, from
Yeah.
what I understand?
For right now, we're going to do it acoustic. Brent didn't want to process through as like a full band. He's a family dude. And this, again, was more of a project for me, and I didn't know how far it was going to go, and got nothing but good responses. And I can't tell you from like an independent artist perspective, to hear somebody say, hey man, that's pretty good. That's really awesome. And they have somebody say that it sucks and then buy your song still. It's fucking awesome. But right now we're just doing the acoustic thing, playing the Abbey Pub tomorrow, which is the first gig of the bunch, playing Redline Pub, doing some things for the troops later on. But right now, just really trying to spread the word. I mean, there's a lot of different songs on there with a lot of different meanings. I mean, Not Alone has been translated as like a helpful thing for like cancer, and I can really kind of see that where it could be helpful. And Voices is a political song. So there's a lot of different shit on there, and I'm trying to get it out there. So
Working on the independent circuit is a lot different than doing it on like the professional level. Not to say that you're not a professional in what you do, but you don't have the backing as a lot of people do.
right.
How did you overcome that?
I mean, I didn't walk into this, getting a record together so I can get on a label or something like that. The coolest thing I know about Jack White is that initially, he was talking about how he wanted to have full creativity on his records, like that control of everything, and that was one of the cool things about doing this. I've been working since I was 15 years old at jobs and paying my dues to the man and all those things. So when you think about where you want to take your life and what you want to do and what you want to leave behind, when I die, this is one of those things that will always stick with me. So going through that, you need to get your money together. I'm gonna be paying off this record forever. I'll never make my money back. I'm completely cool with that. But being an independent musician is literally the coolest thing ever, especially now. I mean, you can get your name out there. You're not fighting labels anymore. Labels all exploded. So it's really cool to be able to say, my shit's on iTunes. Or go get my stuff on Amazon, and I'll see you later. If you want me to play a show, I'll come to your house. Like I'll come play in your basement. But from the independent standpoint of things, it's really cool to have things like CD Baby out there that are really helping artists. And yeah, they take their chunk, yeah, they take their money, but at the same time, like I wouldn't have that opportunity otherwise. So it's cool to be able to do everything the way I want to do it, and then have it be out there just the way it would be if a label was in control. So that's something I'm happy with.
Not Alone is one of the songs, I guess, that's a little bit more poppy.
Yep.
It's one of the ones that I guess, more people today are gonna, you'll find them more, catching it. But it is kind of different from the rest of the album.
Yep.
So, I guess, how did you come up with that song?
It was the first song I wrote for the record. The track number 13 or 12 or 10, I don't remember which one it is. The Fade is actually off my last record, and it's got that same similar feel. You're sliding down up and down the neck of the guitar. It's got that pop feel to it, but in writing that song, I mean, I really wanted to have something where you could lure people in, because that's the only way you get people's attention, is to lure people in and have like a pop radio song. And I feel like that's the most radio friendly song that I have to offer at this point. I mean, like, no swear words on this record, which is weird for me. It's something that's completely different, but Not Alone really just kind of pops, and it sounds like fun. It has a lot of meaning to it, like I was talking about earlier. But at the same time, you can just kind of go, hey, that's cool. I will listen to that later.
This record, like you said, it's for you. You say it's more for you, but also you kind of want to do things in people's interests. To put music out there and have nobody listen is the pits.
Yeah.
And a lot of your stuff is super, like, not long. Do you find that you had to kind of censor yourself a little bit, or adapt the way that you played to kind of fit everyone else?
I think that's probably the best question you asked, because it really taps into that thing where I was telling you about, like, I wanted this to be my signature record, and I wanted it to be something I could leave behind. And I have a 7-year-old sister, and listening to my old stuff and hearing me talk just crazy shit for no reason, I wanted to have something where this could be on like the mix. It's something where you could have your 7-year-old sister listen to it and her show it to her 7-year-old friends, and it's not something that you should censor. I censored myself in a way. One of the secret tracks is FUH, and literally in that song it was supposed to go, I can tell you one thing, I don't give a fuck. But it changed it, I can tell you one thing I don't care for. Which turned out to be okay. But the only way I censored myself was just on the part of swearing. Everything else, I didn't shape for radio. I'm widely influenced, like I said, by the 90s, and wanted to kind of sound like that. I mean, I just kind of wrote, and whatever came out of the guitar and sounded right along with the lyrics, that's what happened.
Is there anyone out there that maybe you haven't said thank you to, or maybe someone who you think doesn't really know how much they helped you?
Yeah, for sure, man. That's a deep question. You know, I think my parents for never pushing anything on me. You know, religion was never pushed on me, and none of that stuff. So I literally was able to shape my own mind and shape who I wanted to be. You know, when my mom and dad bought me my first pink Tascam 4-track, and we were dicking around doing Beck songs, yeah, and then just doing that Amish thing back in the day, it was really, really important to me. And you know, I'm a 30-year-old man now, and I still feel like a kid. I think everybody feels that. But you know, once you get to that point where you're able to just have your own mind, that's wonderful. And you know, when your wife literally just lets you do whatever the fuck you want because she trusts you, you know, that was a huge deal for me. And I've been babbling her ear off for 7 years we've been together, 8 years we've been together, and you know, she's been around, and I've written numerous songs about her and stuff, and you know, she never told me to stop. She just, you know, kind of said, "Hey man, you know, this is what you want to do it in a responsible way," and I did. I mean, but besides that, looking at people like, you know, Spencer coming down on this record and blowing it out and being with me my whole way through, and Brent, and you know, even somebody like Andy Gerber from Million, for him to not look at me and say, "You're an idiot, get out of here," and process through the record, it's great. But you know, when you have the support of your family and your friends and your home and everybody around you, been really supportive, and it's cool. You know, like you said, if nobody listens to your music, that's the pits, but nobody is your family. If nobody is your family and they're going, "Hey man, good job, that's cool," and if you sell 1 million records and your family hates it or your wife hates it, that sucks. That's the pits to me. But yeah, those are the people who've been most influential on me.
All right, sounds good, man. This is Jim with JIP. Once again, Your Ex. You can find it on CD Baby, you can find it on Amazon, you can find it on iTunes. Basically, you find it on the fucking moon right now.
Yeah, get JIP.com. GETJIP is the website.
Alright, Jim, thanks so much.
Joe, pleasure, man.
Fade to black.